Hello, how are you doing? Welcome along to FTUK's weekly catch-up live stream. It's Friday the 21st of March 2025, and I hope you've had a good week in the markets, whatever you have been trading. Gold, wow. S&P 500, that's been interesting too, as has the Federal Reserve on Wednesday, and of course the Bank of England as well. Busy week overall, really super busy. Hope it's all gone well, and yeah, everything has been working out as you would expect. Lovely spring atmosphere out there at the moment as well, and it's nearly Easter, so hope your quarter is shaping up the way that you are expecting. As always, don't forget to join our Discord server if you haven't done already. Speak to Reza, scan the QR code, head over there, and that's the best place to find out everything there is to do with FTUK at the moment. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, the subscribe button, all that kind of stuff. Our channel is growing and it's good to see. The quiz questions are going super good as well. Really exciting to see people that are engaging with that. And there's also one or two little goodies buried in those answers as well. So it's worth, if you've not tried them out, then please do, because there's some interesting stuff in there. I'm saying no more than that. A few goodies for everybody if you are paying attention. Right, okay. Let's jump in. What we're going to do today, we're going to be talking about the most popular markets at FTUK. It's just a bit of fun, really, just to sort of see how well you line up with other traders at FTUK. Also, I'm going to deconstruct level 7 as well. A question in about that on Tuesday, so that's a good chance. This is a good chance to just demystify what level 7 is, how it works, some things you may have not considered. And of course, we've got our St. Patrick's offer, which we've been running all week, and that has been very popular as well. But it is coming to an end, so this is going to be your last chance. Now, before we jump into all of that, I just need to remind everybody, if you didn't know, today is the Triple Witching Day. No, Triple Witching, what on earth is that? If you've never heard it before. We get 4 of them throughout the course of this year. March the 21st, today. June the 20th, also September the 19th and December the 19th. It's important, particularly if you're trading intraday, you're going to want to pay attention to the volatility potentially, and certainly the volume that gets created around the last hour of trading in the US session today. It's all about futures and options. We're not going to do a futures and options masterclass. I've done plenty of those in the past in various different guises. But the options expire today. There's 3 things that are going to expire today. It's the options on individual stocks in the US. They're really certainly all the big ones anyway. And also the options on the indices as well. So that will obviously affect anyone that's trading S&Ps, the Russell, the Dow, the Nasdaq at FTUK, and then the futures contracts that are connected to those options as well. They will all expire. Basically, they all get the life cycle comes to an end, and then the winners are sorted from the losers, and you get a lot of volume pumped into the market, certainly at the end of the session. Now, from a volatility point of view, sometimes it can be not as volatile as you might expect, but you've always got to be on your guard. And that's the whole point of trading markets like this. You have to be prepared, you know, and that's so just getting your heads up is not a bad idea. You'll always see an increase in volume, so that's the explanation behind that. So be careful if your trading strategy is all about trading, scalping intraday, something like that. You will potentially, you're putting yourself at greater risk. But so if you've had a good week, maybe just sort of, you know, just calm it down towards the end of the day. Also, if you're holding positions over the weekend, if you've got your stop losses in a particular position, which are very close to the market, just be very careful how you go about that you're not going to end up putting too much risk of those positions being chopped out of the market because of something that is just going to normalize next week. Yeah, so just make sure that you are on top of that. Triple Witching, that will be today at the end of the US session. Okay, right, let's talk about the most popular markets that are at FTUK. I suppose I don't know whether this is popular across the board. I mean, because we only have optics on the traders that are working with us, but I thought it'd be a fun idea to look at what people are most interested in. And this is a little list. I've done a top 5 list. It's not surprising in many ways, but it is surprising in some other ways. So I'll just do a quick scoot down of the top 5. Top 5, the 5th position is Bitcoin. There's no surprise to see, you'd expect to see Bitcoin as a very actively traded market by most retail traders, by most prop traders. Very technical, those cryptocurrencies. A lot of the guys that I've spoken to in interviews, they're all into the crypto because it is so technical. One of the guys said the other week, said it just... you make the decision, you do the analysis, you put the trade on, and it will deliver. It moves technically and it does it in a reasonable amount of time. You don't get that with a lot of the other markets that have got algorithms and sort of manipulated in other ways. So yeah, it's not surprising to see Bitcoin. I was surprised it was number 5. I thought it would be a little bit higher than that, but no, it is in there at number 5. Number 4, no surprises on this one really, the US 100. And I think the US 100 is most popular by so many retail traders. That's the NASDAQ. And the reason is it's just so thin. It's just so volatile. Now, I think the NASDAQ is very similar to the DAX in that sense. They're just brutal markets. If you're on the wrong side of it, you've really got to be careful in understanding the leverage that you're using in one of these markets. But the NASDAQ itself is a very, very popular market, so it's no surprise to see it in there at number 4. I suspect out of the big US indices, the NASDAQ is most popular because of the tech influence. So a lot of retail traders will be into the tech, Tesla, all these kind of tech companies, and also the fact that it's very thin. So it tends to give you the kind of bang for your buck that so many people tend to look for, as opposed to the Dow, which is probably going to be a little bit on the slower side. But the speed of these markets is not a definition of success. By no means is it a way of defining what success is. So don't, if you're not a NASDAQ trader, do not worry. Now this is where it gets interesting. Number 3 is actually kind of joint held because there's not a great deal in it. Obviously, FX is a big thing, as you would expect at any prop company, and FTUK, we are no different in that sense. FX is a major driver of the markets that people actively trade when they're going through their challenges and their instant funding accounts. But there's not much in it between these 3. The pound against the Japanese yen, the dragon, obviously, similar to the NASDAQ. It's a thin market. You get a lot of bang for your buck, so I'm not surprised that is in there at number 3. Euro dollar is the biggest out of all of the majors as well. It's the most actively traded pair, so that's no surprises either. Now, I was slightly surprised at the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. I'm not too sure why that actually is. It's possibly, maybe it's something to do with swaps, or I'm not really sure. It's an interesting one. Maybe it's a commodity type thing. You've got a kind of like a gold lean on the and copper on the Australian dollar. Although iron ore is actually a massive commodity in Australia. But yeah, you've also got the commodity currency on the other side as well, with the Canadian dollar being so deeply connected to the crude oil market as well. So maybe it's a commodity type of drive. I'm not sure. But yeah, they are the most 3 popular markets. They're so close together that we had to put them all in at number 3. Number 2, now this surprised me. I thought that the pound against the yen would trump this one, but no, it's actually the pound against the Australian dollar. Now that is in itself another very, very thin market. It's not quite as thin as the Japanese yen against the pound, but I wondered, maybe it's because we have a lot of traders in the US, so it could be that maybe the US traders, they like the volatility as it comes into that end of their day as Australia is waking up before they have to wait for Asia to come on board. I'm not too sure. So it could be a question of volatility at the right time of day, and that could be the reason. Maybe this is something we'll change, and it might be a good, interesting project to revisit this in a month's time to see if any of these guys are still in these top places. But yeah, second place is the pound against the Australian dollar. And then the last one as well, there's just no surprises on this one. I don't think anyone will be surprised. And that is gold. Gold is the most popular traded instrument at FTUK. Not surprised as that is the most popular. It always has been in retail trading circles a very, very popular market to be involved in. As to the reasons why, I don't know. It's in terms of actual trading, gold is actually not that easy to work with. It's a very highly manipulated market on an industrial level. I've done some analysis for this weekend for the email that gets sent out. If you've not got the emails, go onto the website and subscribe to the emails. They're really, really cool, our emails. And on Sunday, we send out like a sort of like a preempt for the week ahead. You get all the big news things and some analysis in there, some discussion, just something to make you think as you're having your Sunday lunch. And I've done it on gold this weekend. And one of the key things that gets missed by so many people when they're trading gold is the size of the physical market against the derivatives market that sits on top of it, which is why it's so massively manipulated. Now, there's a big driver at the moment as a lot of big central banks, foreign central banks and governments have been stockpiling gold. And what they're doing is that they are taking delivery. They're letting their futures and options contracts expire, but they're taking delivery on the buy side. And that is something that doesn't necessarily happen that often, because usually most parties in futures and options markets, they'll close out before expiration. Obviously, it's triple witching, so this works well with as a story with this particular market at the moment. So that is something that is unique to gold at the moment. So a lot of these deliveries, that's creating that underlying demand for the gold market that we're seeing in those price rises. But it's very, very manipulated. So it is where some of the guys will be wanting to trade crypto because it's very technical. Gold is quite hard because you can't see that manipulation. It's very, very difficult to see it in the price action. Plus, as well, it's gold. It's got the allure that humans have had with gold for thousands of years. You'll get some guys that will constantly buy and believe into the idea that it's an inflation hedge, and which is, I think, for me, is a little bit debatable at times, sometimes, and also as well as a protection against wealth and recession. Now, if you've ever bought any gold yourself, you'll soon realize that if you actually buy the physical gold from a bullion dealer, you'll find them online anywhere in the world. Unless you're buying huge amounts, the ability for you to be able to sort of like hold your wealth and then benefit from a change in price, if you then come to sell it, is not that easy to do. The markups are really, really difficult to work with. So the actual reasons why gold is most popular is possibly a combination of those, but a lot of it is not necessarily always based on in reality. But it is a popular market, and we have a lot of successful gold traders, so maybe they get used to the way that it flows. So yeah, that's your top 5 markets at FTUK at the moment. I suspect it will change though, but I think what we may do is we'll come back in a month's time and have a look, see if there's any changes in there. I really don't think there will be shifting gold from the top spot, but I'll be interested to see if Bitcoin moves up a little bit. Let's see. Okay, let's move on and let's talk about level 7. This is an interesting one. We had a question asking on Tuesday about understanding level 7. When we think of levels in terms of how they relate to FTUK, you're always thinking in terms of scaling. Now, if I show you the website over there, you'll see on our scaling page here. So whichever account you buy, we'll just use excuse me, we'll just use instant funding as an example over here. Level 7 refers to scaling, basically, and it's this thing at the bottom here. Oh, I can't really show you there, can I? Oh no, I can't. But you get the idea. It's this one down here, this level 7. Now, you get, when you purchase the account at FTUK, you get 6 levels of scaling by default. If you want to then purchase a 7th level, you can do. And because the capital doubles each time, it basically just increases a huge amount of firepower. If you're able to be consistent, get through all of the evaluations successfully, manage your account and your risk properly, and you were potentially to get up to that level, that is what is on the table. Now, you have to purchase this at the beginning of the process, and it's done via an add-on on the checkout, and I think it's 10% on the actual account, but this is what it refers to. So if you were to work with a $100,000 account, you would go from level 6, 3.2 million up to 6.4. That would be the funding balance that you'd get on the account if you were to get up to level 7. If you've not got the add-on, then you don't qualify. But there's a few things in here that I think that get missed by a lot of traders. So it's interesting just to think about what the differences are between level 6 and level 7. Now, let's look at some of the key metrics. Obviously, your account is going to double. The capital is going to double. Also, as well, your profit share is going to increase as well on that level 7 from 70% up to 80%. However, there's a hidden bit of value in there that most people don't consider, and it's the way that the leverage impacts your drawdown. Because certainly on the instant funding, you've got a leverage of 30 to 1 right at the right across the board. So the difference in leverage between level 6 and level 7 doesn't change from a leverage point of view. Now, if you consider that by the time you get up to those kinds of levels of money, the size of contracts that you are going to trade is probably going to be it's going to normalize because the capital gets so big. The difference in drawdown, though, is doubled on a 6% basis between level 6 and level 7. So you can see it there on the screen. Level 6 drawdown on 100k will be 192. On level 7, that would be doubled. With 6% would be 384k. But here's the thing, because your leverage is the same, the way to think about it is that essentially having the level 7, what it does is it gives you more room on level 6. Because if you've got the same amount of firepower, the same amount of leverage, you've essentially got... It's very similar to having a 12% drawdown on level 6. So essentially, by the time you get to that level of the game, up at those heights, the game is becoming easier. And the leverage, because the leverage is not changing, you are just, by the nature of having it, making your journey a lot easier. You're giving yourself more room. So you can essentially mentally think that what you're doing by getting the level 7, you can almost say there's a different way of thinking about it. You're getting a level 6 with 12% drawdown rather than 6. Yeah, so that's the hidden value. So it's a really cool, interesting add-on. If you want to, you don't have to purchase it, but it is a popular way of opening up that capacity. If you are a successful prop trader and you understand what you're doing and you understand the metrics, but you'll always see if it's included in one of the offers. You'll always see. In fact, let's go back to the website and I'll show you. You'll always see, you can see there right at the top, we've got our St. Patrick's offer there at the top, but quite often what we'll do is we'll add if there's any offers on the website, if we're including add-ons, level 7 is quite frequently included in the offer as well, so you'll see it there listed right at the top of the website. You'll have a discount on the account, plus whatever is involved in that, and if level 7 is included, it's been added in free as part of the offer. But that is it. That is what level 7 is, and that is how it all works. Right. Okay. Let us now talk, before we get on to our offer, I want to just talk about this gentleman here on the screen. This is a really fantastic interview that we've got coming up on the channel next week on our YouTube channel. Our interviews are really, really popular, and it's great to see some of these guys. These are our new FTUK ambassadors. They're very successful. We are really great to have them in the community, and they do a good job of trading, signposting what successful trading, passing an account looks like, what that is supposed to look like on a consistent basis. They've all got really good stories. This gentleman here is a student in banking and finance in the UK, and he's just smashed one of our accounts. Really done an amazing job. So we put his interview together. It will be uploaded early in the week and on the YouTube channel. And here is a very quick clip. What about the way that you see the market? We've got on there, you're a gold trader. Obviously, that's very popular. Most people will be trading gold at some point, and it's very popular at FTUK. Also Ethereum as well. Why that combination? What is it about those particular markets that you're liking? Because if you've got the Ethereum, then it's obviously you're probably very technically orientated. Would I be correct?
Cryptocurrency, I trade most the past 4 years, including gold. So that's why I have experience on how the market is going to move. But recently, because of Trump tariff, the market is quite volatile. So I have lost some trades during that volatility.
You said to me as well that you're studying as well. You're studying banking and finance at the moment.
Yeah,
so in between your studying, how are you fitting all of that in? Because balancing your work life or what you're doing in your regular day-to-day life with your trading, it can be a challenge as well, because most of your trades, certainly on the evaluation, your shortest trade was 5 minutes. The longest trade was 4.5 hours. So you are an intraday trader, potentially a little bit of swing trading, probably a lot of scalping as well. Yeah. How are you fitting that in with your day-to-day life and all your studies as well?
So discipline and time management is very important. So I woke up at 7 a.m. and I analyzed I watched the news first. The news is very important. And the second is technical analysis. And also, I would say, because not every day had the chance to enter the market. So I try to find I whether want to scalp today or I want to swing trade or intraday trade.
Okay.
But most traders they just focus on one like trading strategy.
So you've got some flexibility in there, because you're right. No, if you are waking up in the morning and you're looking at what you've got in front of you, knowing when to stay out is equally as powerful as knowing when to take action.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Really, really nice guy, really interesting guy as well. And what I really recognized very quickly was how he'd made a difference in his trading, because he'd struggled for several years, but now he was studying banking and finance, so his mind is totally into his studies, into the subject matter, and he's running his trading around the side. And he seemed to me what he'd figured out, that the structure of his university day with his lectures and having to work in a disciplined way, because he's essentially an intraday scalper, meant that he had to put a huge amount of discipline around his own trading. And obviously with the rules of the prop as well, he's got to be disciplined if he's going to see the right opportunities. He can't afford to be lax with it in any shape or form. The structure of his day, it also helped him in his trading. So he would trade around the edges in between the lectures, but then also then evaluate the market based on how busy he was going to be during the day. So, and because there's something at stake when he's trading a prop account, he has to be very, very rigid with that. That is clearly what had helped him. And his performance in the account is flawless as a result. Really, really nice guy. So that is on the YouTube channel early next week. Right, finally, let's look at our offer that we have for you over the weekend. This is going to end this weekend, St. Patrick's Day. It's not St. Patrick's Day. Obviously, that was Monday, but we've had the offer all week. So there you go. There it is. It's on our new instant funding account. Very, very popular instant funding account. You get an extra 2% drawdown and a huge 35% off. And trust me, this weekend, I say nearly every weekend, but get the account this weekend. Next week, the offers, I'm telling you, the offers are not quite as nice as this because there's some new stuff coming up at FTUK in the next couple of weeks. We've got an amazing week of content partnered up with in fact, I cannot say, I'm not allowed to say, but we've got a fantastic couple of weeks coming up at FTUK, which is going to lead, next week is going to lead into it. So this is a great time to get your instant funding account, which they have been popular. So if you do want it, 35% off. The code is Patrick35 on the checkout if you want to do it. Right, there we go. Another lot done for this Friday. Good week in the markets, good live stream as well. Yes, stay with us at FTUK. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about next Friday. Those interviews will be on the YouTube channel early next week as well. Have a great weekend and a fantastic week in the markets, and we will see you all next Friday.